guys, welcome back. Today we are reviewing the Beauty Blender Bounce Foundation. I've gotten tons and tons of requests to do that one, so I will be doing a review, first impression, and a 2-day wear test. This is actually my second time filming this intro, so I decided I'd put that in here. But you guys will see why I did a 2-day wear test, and in the second day I just switched up some of the products to see if anything was altering the foundations. And also a lot of you guys have been asking me about my thoughts and my input on the whole shade range fiasco with this foundation. So I will be talking about that a little bit at the end of this video, but other than that, let's just get right into it. Okay, so we are just gonna get right into trying this out. This is what the box looks like that the foundation comes in, and then this is what the actual packaging looks like. So I think this bottle is really cool. I love how there's a lock on it. So here it's unlocked, right here it's locked so you can't press on the pump, and then on the back you actually have a little dish that your beauty blender can fit in. You're supposed to pump this onto the dish and then pick it up with the beauty blender, or you can just pump it straight onto your sponge. So I think this packaging is really cool. I've never seen anything like that. I don't know, I just love this, and it feels very luxurious. It's very heavy and frosted glass. I'm pretty sure this is frosted glass. It's either that or plastic, but either way, it looks really nice. So again, I have the shade 1.40. Now this is gonna be a little bit light on me. I didn't think this through. The shade is probably gonna match me perfectly when I'm not self-tanned, but I just was not thinking, and I used self-tanner yesterday, so I am a little bit darker, but we're testing out the formula, so that's okay. So I'm just reading off the bottle quickly here. It says it's a weightless buildable whipped liquid that can be layered from medium to maximum coverage. It's never dull or greasy. So it's full coverage, velveteen finish, moisture boosting, and it is antioxidant rich with white birch extract. So I'm just gonna put 2 pumps. Oh no, just flew all the way over here. So I put 2 pumps on the back of here, and that is what the shade looks like. I'm gonna prime my face quick. I'm only gonna prime half of it, and I'm using the Canon Awesome Prime Protect Mattifying Primer. So I'm just gonna be using a little bit of this on only half of my face just to see if using a primer makes any difference in the wear of the foundation or just the way that it looks on my skin. So while that primer kind of sets in, I'm just gonna work on this side here, and I'm just picking it up off of the dish and pouncing it right on. It's blending out really nicely, but I don't know if I went in with too much or what's happening, but weird. It's like separating on my skin already. What the heck is going on? Okay, so the more I keep blending it out and the more it's drying, it is starting to look better, but at first that was really weird. It was like streaky all over my face, and it looked really textured, and it looked like it was already separating. I turned my brightness down a little bit, so hopefully that helps you guys see, but you know what? Let me zoom you in. Okay, do you guys see all of this happening right here? It looks like, I mean, it's really hard to see on camera, but it almost looks like the foundation just isn't sticking to my skin, just settling into my pores, I guess, and picking up where my skin is a little bit more raised. Okay, so I don't know what that's all about, but I'm just gonna keep working with it. I don't know if you guys can tell, but the shade is a little bit ashy on me. I probably should have gotten something with a little bit more of a yellow undertone in it. It's looking a little bit gray in this area and kind of ashy, but the actual shade of the foundation isn't as light as I thought it was gonna be, so that's good. At least I'm gonna match my body a little bit better. Okay, so I'm gonna work on my forehead now, and I'm just gonna pick up a teeny little bit. Yeah, it's doing it again. It's really weird. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that. You see how it is like streaky? And it looks very, very textured. Usually my forehead looks the best out of my whole face, but it just looks really bumpy and textured. Okay, so what I'm noticing so far, it is starting to crease in my smile line right here already. The finish is nice. It's pretty matte, but it still has a little bit of that glow to it, which I do like. I only used about half of what I put on the back of the tray, and so I guess that would be like 1 pump. Honestly though, now that it is starting to dry down, it does look much, much better. I was a little bit worried for a second there because but now that it's drying down, it is looking much, much softer. So I'm gonna move on to this side. I'm gonna do the same exact thing on this side, but this time I'm picking up a little bit less to see if that was my problem. Okay, so already that looks much better. So I definitely think I went in with a little bit too much, and that was what was causing that, because this side is looking much better. I just used a tiny little bit and it covered that whole area. So yeah, this side actually looks really pretty. So with the little bit that I did use, that actually covered a lot. So I would definitely consider this a higher medium coverage foundation. Here is a close-up of my skin right now. This is the side that I was having issues with when I went in with too much and it was kind of picking up. You can still see a little bit of what looks like separation. It just looks like the foundation is not really wanting to stick on my skin and only on my texture. And then this side, this is the side that I also use a primer on, so I think that definitely had a lot to do with it. But this side looks much softer. And then here is my forehead. This is the side where I picked up a little bit too much. You can kind of see how it doesn't look as good as this side, but again, I mean, I have seen my forehead look better. It does look a little bit textured, but it's mainly just this area that I'm noticing right here. It is also creasing in that line I have in my chin already. Oh, look at that. This is not transfer proof. I just barely touched my skin and that completely came off. And then here it is creasing in this line right here. My forehead, I have definitely seen look better. Looks pretty good in the corners of my nose. I'm not gonna touch my face skin though because you guys saw what happened on my chin. This foundation is definitely not transfer proof. I'm just gonna finish up the rest of my makeup quickly, and for my concealer, I'm using the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Concealer. I usually use my Tarte Shape Tape, but I've been really liking this concealer lately. So I'm just putting it underneath my eyes, forehead, nose, and chin, just to brighten up those areas. So far it's blending out really good. I'm not seeing any issues with it. Yeah, so this concealer is blending out beautifully on top of this foundation. It looks really nice together. And then I'm going to quickly go in with my Too Faced Peach Perfect Setting Powder. I always set my whole face with this powder. It really controls my oil and just keeps me very matte, which I like. I'm just going to take it on my beauty blender and then press that in all over my face, starting with my under eyes just so that they don't start creasing. Okay, so now with everything set down, I think it looks really pretty. It looks very soft. Way better than it did when I first put it on. I'm glad that it took that kind of a texture away and looks like skin again. I'm gonna contour my cheekbones a little bit, and I'm using the Tarte Park Ave Princess palette. By the way, it is 3:32 right now, so I'm making 3:30 my call time for when I finish setting down my makeup. So on my forehead, I am noticing that it's kind of picking up the foundation, really only right here though. Okay, so enough with that. I'm just gonna move on and bronze up my skin a little bit. I'm using the Tan-tastic Omega Bronzer by Marc Jacobs. Oh, every time I open this, it smells amazing. I cannot get enough of it. Blush I'm using is this Ulta Beauty. It looks like this. It's the mineral blush. I have the shade Calla Lilly. I'm going to finish off my lower lash line quick and use the Soft Glam palette by Anastasia. I'm going to take the shade Mulberry right here. I'm also taking some MAC Nylon and putting that right into my inner corner. Using a little bit of Benefit What's Up highlighter and putting that on my cheekbones. And then for highlight, I'm using MAC Soft and Gentle. I'm going to line my lips with Malibu Lip Liner by Kylie Cosmetics. And then I'm using the Malibu Liquid Lipstick. And then last but not least, I'm setting my face with the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray, hopefully to lock my makeup in place and keep me matte. Okay, so here we are with an extreme close-up, just so you guys can see exactly what is going on my face. Like I said before, I do like it a lot more now that it's all set down. I think it looks a lot softer. It stopped creasing really bad in the chin line, but it still is creasing a tiny bit, and it is creasing in my smile lines. Now, something that I'm noticing is mainly on my forehead and my nose. On my nose, it looks like the foundation is already starting to transfer off a little bit. There is a lot of little tiny dark spots all over my forehead though. And what's really weird too is that I exfoliated my face this morning before I filmed this, so there shouldn't be any bumps like that. It almost looks like someone misted me with mud. It's really weird. So yeah, like I said before, it is now it's 4, but it was 3:30 when I finished setting my foundation. So I'm gonna call time at 3:30 and I will check back in with you guys in a couple hours. Okay guys, so it's 7:35 right now. It's been 4 hours since foundation's been on my face. Okay, so I'm just gonna zoom in quick and show you guys what it's looking like. I actually haven't even looked in the mirror yet, so how do I zoom this in? What do you think it looks like?
Powdery.
Thank you. Do you think it looks cakey?
I don't know, powdery, cakey.
Powdery, cakey.
Same thing.
Same thing. Okay, so even Kyle says that it looks pretty cakey on my skin. I don't know, I'm not loving it. I think again from a distance it looks pretty. Once I get up close, it does not look very good, especially my forehead. It looks really bad, and then it is creasing pretty bad in my smile lines right here. And is it in my chin? I don't know, it just looks cakey. So I'm still gonna make it another 5 hours just to show you guys what it's gonna look like after everything, because I mean, I'm not oily. I don't have really any oil on my skin yet, but it just doesn't look pretty. So I think that's all I have to say right now, so I'll see you guys in another few hours. Okay guys, so it's 11:40 now. It's been 8 hours, and again, from a distance, I think it looks really good, but then once I get up close and start looking at it, it just looks very dry. It is separating, although I'm not oily at all though. I don't really have any oil anywhere, but for some reason, it still is separating a lot on my skin. Usually it only happens to me if I'm starting to get oily, then it'll start separating, but it is, I don't know, it's just looking a little funky. But mainly right around my mouth, especially my upper lip and my chin, look very, very separated, and my forehead looks not good. It's definitely creasing in these wrinkles in my forehead. I don't know, it just looks really, really bumpy. It looks so bumpy everywhere. So what I've decided to do is I'm gonna give this another shot. So this video is gonna be a 2-day wear test. So I'm going to wrap this part up right here, and then I'll see you guys again tomorrow. And since tomorrow is my editing day, I'm just gonna kind of chill at home, put the foundation on, and just see how it wears again using different products. Because as of right now, the foundation does not look good. I definitely wouldn't wear this again, just because even right off the bat, I didn't love it. It still looked a little bit funky in places. So for today, that's all I have to say. Not a huge fan of this foundation just from what it looks like on my skin right now, but we'll see if that changes tomorrow in my second wear test. And yeah, so I will see you guys tomorrow. Okay, it's Tuesday now, so I'm gonna try this foundation a little bit different today. I'm just gonna switch up a couple of things that I used and see if I can make this work. So again, I am priming half of my face only with the Canon Awesome Mattifying Primer. Only putting this on the right side. And then I'm just gonna start with one pump of this foundation and work up very slowly, because I feel like I definitely went in with way too much yesterday, and that was a huge problem. And then another thing I'm changing is yesterday I used this beauty blender. This is the new Chill Beauty Blender, I believe it's called. And I did notice when I was using this that it's a lot more rough than the other beauty blenders, and I brought my other one up here today. I'm gonna show you guys up close, see if you can really tell, but can you guys see from that how this one is so much more textured and bumpy, and then this one is just much smoother. And it also feels way softer and smoother. This one feels just a little bit kind of gritty almost. So I feel like that could have had something to do with it too. So I'm gonna be using this beauty blender today, and I'm starting off with just a little bit. I'm just very slowly working it up, and it looks so much better. It looks really, really soft on the skin. It doesn't look textured at all. Okay, now the moment of truth. This is the spot that I had an issue with yesterday. So much better. It has such a pretty finish, and look at how much it covered up with just the teeniest little amount. So it has very, very good coverage, and it's definitely buildable. When I am building it up, it's not picking up the foundation or anything like that. It is like night and day compared to what it looked like yesterday. I don't know what I did yesterday, what I was thinking, but I'm gonna move on to the side where I put the primer on now and do the same exact thing. Okay, I'm gonna zoom you guys in now so you can see what it's looking like. So hopefully you guys can tell on camera how much different this looks than it does yesterday. It looks so much softer. My skin actually looks healthy and not super textured and bumpy, dry and cakey. It is still creasing in my smile lines. It's creasing in excuse me, my chin line. And yeah, the main difference I'm noticing is just my cheek area, how much softer they look. So I'm gonna finish up my makeup, and I am gonna be doing this a little bit different than I did yesterday. So today I'm using my Tarte Shape Tape. I mentioned that I always use this in my foundation reviews and when I'm testing out a new foundation. So I wanted to go back to this today and see if that made any difference. So I'm just putting a little tiny bit everywhere that I brighten up my face, blending out beautifully. I'm not seeing any issues with it so far. Oh my gosh, I just can't get over how much softer this looks than it did yesterday. Okay, I'm gonna set my face quickly with the same setting powder that I used yesterday, the Too Faced Peach Perfect Matte Setting Powder. I'm contouring with the Kat Von D Shade and Light Kit. I'm gonna use this middle shade right here. It's looking a little bit patchy right here. Really weird. You guys have seen me use this in basically every single one of my foundation reviews, and this never ever happens. So I'm just gonna stop that. Maybe pounce over it a little bit. Okay, so it's 3:34 right now, so I will call time at 3:30 again. Same as yesterday, so weird. But everything else I'm using to finish up the rest of my makeup is gonna be the same as yesterday, so I will finish that up and be right back. All right, just finished up the rest of my makeup, and wow, I know I've said this a million times already, but I just cannot believe how much different it looks than yesterday. It looks so beautiful and soft on the skin. I'm loving the way it looks, except it is still creasing in my smile line right here. Looks really good in the corners of my nose. Doesn't look cakey or anything. Looks great over my texture. I don't think it's enhanced at all. I think my skin looks very soft. I was having a little bit of an issue right here with my contour. You can still kind of see a little bit of patchiness here, but I just left it. I didn't want to add any more and make it darker. My forehead looks good, way better than yesterday. I didn't get oily at all yesterday, so I don't think I am gonna get oily today. Even yesterday, it was already starting to separate before I even left after my first check-in, so I guess we'll see if that happens again today, but so far so good, minus the creasing in my smile lines. I do want to do a flash test quick, so I'm going to turn off my lights and test that real quick for you guys. Okay, so this is what the picture looks like with flash on. My face does look a little bit lighter than my body, but I feel like that's because the foundation is a lot lighter than my skin tone, so I don't think I would consider that flashback. You guys can be the judge of that though. I will check back in with you guys in a few hours and show you guys how it's holding up on my skin, so I'll see you then. Okay, again, my house is a mess back there. Try to ignore it. There's a ton of boxes back there. I don't know what they're from, but anyways, I wanted to show you guys what it looks like in natural daylight again, so I'll zoom in quick. It's only been about an hour since it's been on my skin, but I will be back in probably like 4 hours just to do a little checkup, so I will see you then. Okay, so it is 8:47 now. It's been a little bit over 5 hours, and so far, there still is no oil on my face. From what I'm seeing, the only thing that looks different now is my chin, and then the very corners of my nose. It does look like it's starting to separate a little bit, but it's nowhere near as bad as yesterday, and you would never be able to tell unless you got up close to me. That's really it. I think it still looks really soft everywhere. Probably gonna make it 10 hours today just to see how well this is gonna hold up on my skin. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say for now. So I will see you guys in a little bit. All right, it's the end of the day now. It is 1:34 in the morning, so it's been a little over 10 hours now. I took my lashes off and my lipstick, so I look a little crazy right now. But just looking at the foundation up close here, I am starting to get oily on my forehead, but it's not terrible. It is starting to separate and look a little cakey around this area right here and kind of my upper lip. It is creasing in the line in my chin, and it has transferred off the lower part of my chin quite a bit. You can definitely see some separation on my chin, mainly just around my mouth area where I'm noticing that. I do think up until about 3 hours ago though, it was looking really, really good. So overall, I think it did pretty good. This isn't a foundation that I would wear if I know I'm gonna have to have it on for a long period of time though. I think right around the 7 to 8 hour mark is where it started to look a little bit rough, but up until then, I think it looked really good. I mean, you guys could see in my check-ins. So I'm glad that I figured out what I needed to do different, and that was to use way less product that I was using. Probably not going to use that blue beauty blender again either, because that one was definitely very textured, and I feel like that had a lot to do with it too. Also, I don't feel like it mixed well with the Laura Mercier concealer. I think it worked a lot better with the Tarte Shape Tape, so that's definitely something that I will keep in mind. But yeah, so I think that's all I have to say about the foundation itself. Now, you guys have been asking me about my thoughts on the whole foundation shade range, and originally I wasn't going to talk too much about it on my channel just because sometimes I just feel like it's not my place and I never want to offend anybody. But then I was thinking about it, and I do think it's important for YouTubers reviewing it, not just this foundation, but every foundation line, because this is not the first time this has happened. I mean, there's so many foundation shade ranges that are just ridiculous in my opinion. So it's definitely not the first time this has happened, but in my opinion, I think that now it's 2018. So when you are seeing brands dropping these new foundations, especially after Fenty Beauty, Cover FX, how amazing their shade ranges are, I just feel like every brand should be stepping up now. If you saw the picture that Trendmove posted, it's basically 3 rows of basically the same color foundation, and then you have 1 row that is their deep dark row, maybe 2 shades that I would consider deep dark, and then there's about 2 or 3 shades that are in the medium range that look really orange. I definitely think they could take out at least 5 shades from the medium range just because they all look so similar, and add in some more undertones for the deep shades and the light shades too, because even the very lightest shade I feel like could be a lot lighter. And by the way too, little side note here, so they did come out with 32 shades, which when you hear that, that sounds like a lot, and that's awesome, but the execution of those shades just was not done very well. I just feel like they focused way too much on the medium shade range, which is just the main problem with this. But hopefully I touched on everything that I wanted to say, so thank you guys so much for watching this video, and please let me know down in the comments another foundation you want me to review, and I will definitely get to that. And yeah, thanks for watching this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.